How did the massive Roman Empire's military logistics inadvertently create the path for a different kind of kingdom? For early Christians, the prayer, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done," was a petition to establish a divine authority that would eventually outlast the Roman occupation. Traditions suggest this spiritual presence arrived early. Legend says that Joseph of Arimathea, the man who provided the tomb for Jesus, settled in Somerset and established the faith at Glastonbury. Parallel accounts point to Aristobulus, identified as one of the 70 disciples commissioned in the Gospel of Luke, as the first to bring these teachings to the British landscape. Beyond legend, the historical expansion relied on Roman engineering. The military paved Watling Street, a massive highway system connecting key outposts in Dover, London, and Chester. To manage these lands, the empire implemented a strict bureaucratic structure, dividing territory into dioceses, overseen by officials known as vicars. The early church utilized this exact framework to grow. They traveled the Roman roads and adopted Roman terminology, using dioceses and vicars to organize their own expanding administrative network. However, the same efficiency that allowed the faith to spread also made it easier for the empire to enforce its laws. In the eyes of Rome, the Christian faith was a direct threat to imperial order. At the military post of Verulamium, this conflict became a matter of record. These ruins are the remains of a society where the demands of the state and the convictions of the faith eventually collided. A Roman soldier named Alban lived here. When he provided shelter to a Christian priest fleeing execution, he was struck by the man's constant prayer and chose to convert. When authorities arrived, Alban exchanged clothes with the priest, wearing the clergyman's cloak so that he would be arrested and executed in his place. His death made him Britain's first Christian martyr, providing a local example of the gospel teaching that no love is greater than laying down one's life for a friend. The site of his death became a permanent spiritual anchor for the region. Over the centuries, a massive cathedral rose in his honor, marking a point of pilgrimage that would outlast the Roman administration. While the Roman garrison at Verulamium eventually disappeared, the community that formed around Alban's memory remained. The site evolved from a military outpost into a lasting center of the British Church. In 410 AD, the Roman legions withdrew from Britain entirely. Without the military to maintain them, the roads, markets, and administrative systems of the province began a period of rapid decline. This collapse allowed for a wave of new arrivals. Tribes of Angles, Saxons, and Junts crossed from the continent, establishing their own pagan kingdoms through conquest. During these invasions, the organized church infrastructure in the southeast was dismantled. Churches were abandoned or destroyed, and the Christian leadership was largely driven out of the new territories. The center of gravity for the faith shifted toward the edges of the map. It found refuge in the west and north, settling in lands where the Anglo-Saxon warlords had not yet established control. In the mountains of Wales and the coasts of Ireland and Scotland, a distinct monastic culture began to take root, creating a stable environment for the faith to continue. Patrick, who had once been a slave in Ireland, returned there as a missionary. He helped build monastic centers like this one at Glendalough, which served as remote hubs for learning and worship. He used the local shamrock to teach the doctrine of the Trinity, grounding the Great Commission to baptize in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit in the natural world of his listeners. This movement grew through the work of Columba on the island of Iona and David in Wales. They established coastal monasteries that functioned as isolated, self-sustaining spiritual outposts. While the old Roman cities were in decline, these monks spent their lives in stone cells, meticulously copying manuscripts, ensuring that the teachings of the Orthodox faith were preserved in writing. The dense lines of text in these manuscripts protected the knowledge that would eventually be used to re-evangelize the rest of the British Isles. The collapse of the Roman roads did not end the story of the British Church. Instead, the faith was secured within these remote monastic sites, preserving the continuity of the tradition until the next generation was ready to bring it back into the heart of the country.